What started all this for you, Bob, and why do you still do what you do? We're going to talk about both those things today. I am Semi-Retired Bob. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. If you're new to the channel, welcome. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem super exciting, but if you consider just under 3 years ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for a couple minutes without severe pain, and now I'm out here walking every day. It starts to get just a little bit more interesting. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask everyone to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. We're going to do things just a little bit differently today. Because of that, I'm going down to that walking trail that I found on yesterday's walk. And I want to explore that with you guys. So to show you where it is and how I missed it, I'm going to go ahead and start the video with just a small music section. And then when I get down there, we'll actually start the video. I'll put a little timestamp in here. So if you don't want to wait through the walk down there, you can just skip ahead. Okay, I think why I haven't ever noticed this trail over here before is because I'm usually coming up this way and I'm focusing on this busy intersection. And you can't really see the trail that I found yesterday. That wind is something else today. But I came out to walk now because the wind advisory is still 2 or 3 hours away, so we'll see what happens. It is kind of beautiful out here today. It's 60 degrees. The wind is blowing, but the sun is shining. Got a bunch more trees starting to leaf out and bloom here. But anyway, as we approach because I think I spotted this sidewalk because I came down the hill from that walk yesterday. I don't usually come that way. And I was thinking about going on across and going up that next hill to Pacific Street when, as I cross, because I usually come up there and just turn. And this street, this path, is blocked by the big Trendwood sign. But I came across the street there and was planning on going on up that way when I spotted this. So let's go ahead and take a walk on this and see where it goes. But let's get into today's topic. How all this got started for me, where it all began. As many of you know, I got kicked out of the Army in 1983. That's not quite right. There we go. I got kicked out of the Army in 1983 because I had gout. And the doctor in the Army, plus the civilian doctor I found when I got out, both said the same thing. They handed me this handout, and if you go out to your favorite search engine and type in gout diet, the first 5 or 6 results will be the exact same handout I got in 1983. Don't eat meat, don't eat organ meat, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of grains. If you're going to have meat, only have, a 2-ounce portion a couple times a week, and make it be chicken or fish. Never have pork or beef. And things just kept going downhill slowly. The thing that happened to me was, if you've ever had a gout attack, you know how painful it can be. So I would, we all knew as fact at that time that all you had to do to lose weight was to eat less and move more. And that sort of worked a little bit, but every time I tried to do the move more thing, I would have a gout attack. And that gout attack would have me down for 3, 4, 5 days, even as much as a week and a half, before I could get back. So every time I was starting from further behind the 8 ball. It was not a very good situation. I've got a parent and her 2 little kids here, so I'm not going to turn the camera around and show you I can show you part of it, but I'm not going to turn it too far. There's a little playground here, just that many steps in from where we started. And it looks like a fairly nice one. This looks like they got a climbing thing, a few of those rocky things, some swings, a slide, and they got a big tire thing. Oh, and they've got a crane thing, a backhoe. If you go back into my video archives, way back, there's actually one that's titled "I Work a Backhoe." I was at a parkway up north of here, and they had one of those. It's just a little kid's backhoe where you pick up sand with it, move it over. But anyway, back to how this happened. So, of course, you all know, as I knew I was slowly gaining weight, and it was slowly getting worse and worse. But there wasn't much I could do about it because I had gout, and I kept having gout attacks. And, we knew as fact that eating meat caused gout. Except I wasn't really eating a lot of meat, and I was still having a lot of gout attacks. And as you all know, I found Dr. Barry and was told the unbelievable fantasy that eating meat doesn't cause gout. I couldn't believe it when I saw it and heard it. It's like, this guy's crazy. I've known as fact for 40 years that eating meat causes gout. Well, as it turns out, gout is an inflammatory process. Now, I don't know all the sciencey stuff behind it, but I can tell you that now I've heard stories of people that when they first start a carnivore diet, they have one more big gout attack. And I think maybe I avoided that because I had just had a big gout attack on my drive back from North Carolina to Ohio to back to Omaha. But I have not had one single gout attack since I started this lifestyle, this way of eating. Does that mean that you can completely cure your gout by going on a carnivore diet? I can't say that. But even if you don't have the results I got, it will certainly get better. How much better, I can't say, but it will get better. Now this is interesting. There's like a split in the trail here. It goes on that way. I'm not sure where that comes out at, and there's another outlet to the street there. But there's a bridge here. And looks like it goes over a creek. So we're gonna walk out onto this bridge. And then I'm gonna move the camera around slowly so that you can see what I'm seeing. That's not too bad. Wow. I didn't even know. I knew there was a baseball diamond down here, but I didn't know the rest of this stuff was here. There's, looks like some soccer fields, some basketball courts, and of course the little baseball diamond. Huh. Looks like there's a big picnic house up there too. This is quite the park. I've lived here since 98, 99, and I didn't know any of this was here. Weird. But anyway, we're going to go back across the bridge and see where the walking trail goes from there. So do I know for sure you're going to get better? No, I can't say that. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. But I do know there's a lot of false information out there about gout. I mean, I've known for decades that it was uric acid crystals that caused the pain of gout. Well, it's actually urate crystals. I'm not sure how all that works. Professor K does a good job of explaining it. Dr. Barry does a good job of explaining it. And I'm sure there's others, but those are the two I've listened to. But the bottom line is eating meat does not cause gout. Period. Obviously, since I had suffered with gout for 40 years, and when I say suffered, I mean I had 3 or 4 major gout attacks every year and lots of little ones. I can't really remember a day through that entire period in my life where one joint or another wasn't hurting because of gout. Okay, this is nice. It basically runs along the creek behind the neighborhood here, and This is the other entrance to my neighborhood, all the way up on Pacific Street. Interesting. But I'm going to turn the camera out here, let you see the last little bit of this park, and then I'll tell you why I still do what I do when we get back up closer to the house. I've never noticed before, because you guys know I start out usually on my big block coming up that long hill and then turn to the right and go down the long hill. It's a lot tougher uphill coming from that direction. But now I'm on the final little downhill run towards the house. So I get asked, not a lot, but often enough, that I like to cover this every once in a while. They say, Bob, why do you do what you do? It's obvious you're not really making any money at this. We've seen your channel numbers. Yeah, that's true. And it's even worse than that. I spend more on my editing software than what I make from Google AdSense every month. Occasionally I'll have a good month and it'll break even, but this is where I have to thank my 8 channel members, because of their membership to my channel. That's the money I actually make every month. And there's only 8 of them, but that brings me back to the positive. And then occasionally someone will use one of my Amazon links and I'll get a few pennies off of that. And every once in a great while, somebody will use my link for and order up a bottle of Cerule product, and I get a little bit off of that. But for the most part, I don't really make any money at this. So why do I do it? Well, that's actually pretty easy. I hear so often, Bob, your video has inspired me. Or, I'm showing your videos to my dad or to my granddad so that they can see what kind of progress is being done. And as I said, about 5 days into that first walking challenge, after I took my first walk and I went from 25 subscribers to 500 almost overnight, the reason I do this is because you never know who's watching and who's learning. They may not be commenting, but they're watching and they're learning. And if I can save even one person so that they don't have to go through the trials that I have gone through from the time I got ejected from the Army to the time I found Carnivore, I wouldn't wish that kind of life on anybody. If I can save one person and they can relate to my story and say, hey, maybe I should try this thing, then all of this has been a success. I'm not making any money at it, and that's okay. I don't mind. My biggest reward is when I get those comments that say, Bob, you're making a difference. Heck, a friend of mine down in Mississippi, I didn't even know she was watching my channel, but one day, she doesn't comment on YouTube, but she did. She sent me a message on Facebook that said, Bob, I just want you to know that you have really made a difference in my husband's life. He has reduced all of his type 2 diabetes meds, and it looks like he's going to get off of them very soon. He's lost a bunch of weight. He's doing so much better now, thanks to you. That's the kind of thing that keeps me going. I mean, obviously I'm doing these walks for me, for my health. But, you know, like right now I'm coming back in on the house. If I was just doing all this for me, I'd be done for the day. But now I have to go. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of work, and I'm not complaining. I love doing it. But I now have to go transfer the video from my camera into my computer and then edit it up, add the writing that you always see, and then get it uploaded to YouTube. It's not a lot of work, but it does take a little bit of time. Sorry, I've been complaining a bit too much. The whole point of this is that I do this because I don't know who's watching. And if I quit today, maybe somebody that was going to start tomorrow won't start. Because, well, gosh, if Bob gave up, why should I even try? That's why I do this. Hopefully some of what I said today made sense. That's what I've got for you today, folks. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, and every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.